and welcome to Get Curious with Kirsten, where we talk about the intersection of curiosity and leadership. Today, I'd like to get curious about best ways to receive feedback. So one day, I was on a group Zoom call with 4 other coaches and consultants, and after I left the meeting, my phone rang. I recognized the phone number right away. It was my friend Denise, who was also in the meeting, and she said, "Hey Kirsten, this is Denise. Do you have a minute to chat? I wanted to give you some feedback from that meeting we were just in." I swallowed hard. At this point, my mind is racing and wondering, what did I do wrong? But I summoned my courage, and instead I said, "Sure, Denise, what's on your mind?" So Denise continued, "Well, I want you to be the most effective speaker and presenter you can be. And I noticed that sometimes, during our group meetings, the tone of your voice goes up at the end of a sentence. So it sounds like you're asking a question instead of making a statement. It's called uptalk, and it comes across as though you aren't confident in what you're saying. Now, I know you know what you're talking about, but when you engage in uptalk, it detracts from your message. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention." I thought to myself, I really had no idea I was doing that. But was I really doing that? I don't know. All these thoughts were running through my head. But what I said to Denise was none of those thoughts. Instead, I said, "Thank you. Do you have any suggestions for how I can stop the uptalk?" Denise did have a few suggestions and tips that really were very helpful. So I thanked her again, and we got off the call. So then I just sat in my office for a few minutes. I just soaked it in. I was really surprised by her feedback because I had been trained as a broadcast journalist, and I thought, well, I'm pretty good at this stuff. I didn't think that I would have that kind of a speaking challenge. But as I sat with her feedback the next few days, I promised myself I would just pay attention and see what I noticed. Sure enough, as I listened to myself on client and group calls, I was doing that. And it was not at all how I wanted to come across. In fact, Denise, if you're listening to this right now, I'm still working on uptalk in case you hear it in this video. So I just shared an example of how feedback can be valuable if we're open to receiving it. Let's unpack it to see what went well in that story and what you can apply to get more comfortable in receiving feedback yourself. So first, you'll notice that Denise made a point of stating her intention before she shared the feedback with me. She began with, "I want you to be the most effective speaker and presenter you can be." So right off the bat, I knew that her intention is to help and not harm me or make me look foolish. So it's good to remember the intention of the person who's giving you feedback. If they're trying to help you, take the feedback in the spirit in which it's intended. Secondly, it's simply to just say thank you. Even if you're caught off guard in the moment by what you're hearing, just say thank you in a genuine way. Third, you want to resist the desire that's in all of us to argue, explain, or get defensive. Instead, just stay calm and collected and listen to what's being shared with you in the moment. Fourth, it's okay to ask a question, but make sure it's a clarifying question where you're trying to gain more information about your behavior that you're getting feedback on or what you should change in the future. So in this case, I asked Denise, "Do you have any suggestions for how I can stop the uptalk?" That kind of a question is all right. And if you find yourself struggling to just keep a level head in that moment, just say thank you and end the conversation. Give yourself a couple of days or a couple hours to reflect on what you've heard. And then at that point, if you have clarifying questions, it's okay to go back to that person and ask some more so you can really make sense of it for yourself. It's very common for feedback to feel harsh in the moment. But normally, if we give ourselves some time to reflect on it, most of us will find that there's a lot of value to be had in the feedback we receive, or at the very least, a little nugget of truth in there, something we can use to our benefit. So if you found this content to be valuable today, please make sure you click the subscribe button below so you won't miss out on future videos. Until next time, stay curious.